right, this is What's Wrong with My Painting? With an Attitude. Number 3. What's Wrong with My Painting? Number 3 today. Again, something very different. This is a part of downtown Raleigh. Excuse me. This is called South Glenwood. Oh, sorry, let me turn down my volume a little bit here so we're not getting feedback. There we go. And I did this painting again some time ago, and bad glare. Is that any better? Yeah, you can actually see it better that way, but I'm not going to paint that way. Very dramatic light effects. As you can see, all this intense light coming from down the street. This street is called South Glenwood. Anybody that knows our city would recognize, even if they know it well, they would even recognize this staircase. All right, but what's wrong with it? I think what's wrong with it, besides that it's got no pencil in it, shows it was done some time ago, and so I'm going to add some pencil because I like the effect that it has. I like this light effect, I do, but I think the problem with it is the shape is that it's not a good shape. It's just boom, done, one and done, boom. The shape is a blob. So what I said 2 videos ago, a good composition is the major light or the major dark areas can be described in one word, but blob is not a good word. Okay, so I think I need to add more light elsewhere in the painting, even though I like the overall effect. I don't want to, but I want to tweak a little bit. All right, and I'm going to start by, as I often do, I'm going to start by glazing all of this, making it slightly warmer. It was quite a cold white there, and that was problematic. Now it's too yellow. Hang on, I'm going to fix that right away. Real easy, just by rubbing gently and lifting up some of what I just put down. Not all of it, just some of it. There we go. Very nice. Now, yeah, the blue sky up there needs a little bit of work, I think. I think it would be better if that were a little bit truer bluer. We'll all find out together if I'm right. Yeah, I do think that's better. It's a little bit darker too, and that's good. It kind of pushes it back. The color of this building, the brown building in the background, I'm not crazy about that color. So there, I just rounded a little bit. All right, I think everything else I can leave. Now, the challenge with this painting then is I want to lighten a bunch of it. What do I do then? I'm so glad you asked. It's real simple, real easy. You old timers will see this coming. It's time for a fuzz layer. Fuzz layer is translucent, light. First of all, light, foggy, misty, translucent on top of what's already there with very soft edges. So without doing an awful lot of deep thinking about the matter, I'm going to go ahead and mix up, of course, some titanium white, some ultramarine, and then a kind of a tan mixture that I already had mixed up on my palette. I don't like the texture of that, so I'm just going to use a rag to. And just because I'm adding light doesn't mean I need to add shockaroo sunlight, right? No, I don't think that would be appropriate. The sunlight is clearly back there, and I'm going to keep it back there. But there's secondary light. Yea, verily, secondary, tertiary. What comes after tertiary? Quaternary. Okay, that's not what I'm doing mainly. What I want to do mainly is these stairs and this railing up here, the front of this house, underneath the porch. Again, this is all these secondary lighting, bounced light, not direct sunlight, but lighter, definitely lighter nonetheless. And again, it's way too textured, in my opinion, the way it is right now. So I will simply hit that with a rag to smooth it out. I'm standing back and looking. I'm happy to say the painting is better already. Now I think, though, what I can do next is I'm mixing up a very warm bunch of stuff. I think I can make these flowers glow a little bit more, so bring more light into this middle area here. Okay, and then maybe without cleaning my brushes, we'll see. Add a bunch of green, some green to these brushes. Yeah, and my brushes were dirty, so it's sort of a little bit of a muddy green, which I think is appropriate, which I think is what I want. I don't want a real intense green. That would be difficult. And again, I'm going to pick up a rag in a bit and smooth all of this out. I'm wondering, do I want to do any? I don't think so. This tree is kind of nice the way it is already. I don't think I want to mess with it. Maybe a little bit more green in the grass down here. Yeah, maybe there. Oh yeah, just a little bit way down here in the corner. That corner doesn't really need to be quite as dark as it is. So let's get some bluish green down here. I'm a big fan of vignetted corner, a corner that gets darker. But I just think that was just too much of a good thing. It just went too dark. There was too much, too large an area. Wow. My wow is the painting is noticeably better already. Now that I've done all this, I can pump that up. But let me get some brushes for that. Besides the fan brushes, besides the chip brushes, the fan brush is often a good tool for doing fuzz. And wouldn't you know it, I say that, and then I'm not finding, here's one. There's one fan brush and one really tiny one. I guess I'll just use them since I mentioned it. And I'm mixing again some tan color and blue. Let me turn up my volume to make sure sorry for the, there we go. All right, so a little bit more light here. Following now even the tread of the stairs a little bit. I think that works. Much better. Whew. This one's it's nice when that happens. It doesn't always happen when you try to rescue a painting, but I feel like in this case I'm getting that woo feeling like, oh, this is much better. Let me turn myself up a little bit just to make sure I can hear. All right, and I've just mixed up even more white on my brushes. I don't mean white, but I've added a little bit more titanium white to this gray mixture that's on my brushes. So this is fuzz, right? You're getting a good, if anybody here is not familiar with my work, you're getting a good lesson right now in what does fuzz mean. Very, very soft, no hard edges at all. Translucent. And now that I've done that, moving back and forth, now that I've done that, I find that I can lighten some of this green even more. Here's the nice thing about, of course, oil painting. If all of a sudden I go, whoops, I've done too much fuzz, guess what? I pick up a rag and I simply diminish, remove. There's a big difference though. I'm going to paint with a rag. sometimes beginners are perfectionistic and they get mad at themselves. Partly because they think good painters don't make these mistakes. That's ridiculous. If I'm any good at all, it's because I've made every mistake 1,000 times more than you. But you don't get mad. You just paint with a rag. So you don't go, oh, shut up, I'm well. You know, that's what I call it, that the spirit of the eraser. The spirit of the eraser comes on you. Don't do that. No, you just paint with a rag. You don't get mad at it. You didn't make a mistake. You're just painting. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. In fact, if you want to know the truth, most early journey painters, in my opinion, they don't do enough back and forth. They just do one and done, or two or three and done. And a good painter does layer, 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 layer. The typical painting of mine has about 30 phases, stages, or layers. So like you just saw me do 2. Glaze, that was 1. Then fuzz, that's 2. The next thing I'm going to do is pencil. Right now, as I said in the last video, there's too much fuzz, right? Woe is me, I've overdone it. No. It just means you're not done with the painting. So now I'm going to do pencils. And again, you guys, old timers, know these are made by Jerry's Artorama. They're called Jumbo Jet Black. They're kind of a wax. Technically, I think that would be an oil-based pencil or grease-based pencil, but it's not as greasy as say a China marker. Much drier than that, but a little bit wetter than, say, Conti crayon. A little bit more oily than a Conti crayon, but not like a China marker. Something in between. And I love these pencils. I just bought a whole 6 month supply of them the last time I was in Jerry's Artorama. My good buddies were there at the art store. All right, so it's time for some scratchiness to counteract, if you will, the smudginess of the fuzz. Fuzz is extremely smudgy. So at the end of this phase right here, I will have too much pencil, right? I've been saying that a whole bunch today. I hope you're getting the message. That doesn't matter. There's only one layer of the painting process that you don't want to have too much anything, and that is the final edit layer. When everything is all done, when it's all done, then there shouldn't be too much of anything. Until then, every layer. Now, and part of the reason, by the way, that I say I go ahead and take every layer to excess is because I'm painting fast and loose, and I don't want to waste a lot of time thinking, like, well, let's be careful. Let's be careful. We don't want too much. Do you hear that kind of painting? Gag a maggot. You do not want to paint that way. You do not want to paint all scaredy cat. You don't want to paint, oh man, I'm always worried that I'm gonna shut up. Don't be worried, man. It's a doggone canvas. It's not gonna rise up in the middle light and strangle you in your bed. You versus the canvas. No competition. You don't have to be afraid of this thing. So anyway, sorry I'm being a little bit, you know what, who knows what. But somebody out there needed to hear that today. Stop that scaredy cat painting. Just don't know. There's nothing to be afraid of. Nothing to be afraid of. Now I know what really you're afraid of is embarrassing yourself and doing a bad job and all that crap. Oh my goodness, get over that. Get over that. You ain't all that. Neither am I. That's part of the reason I don't get scared of my canvases, because I'm not trying to be all that. I'm just having fun. So anyway, so that's why I paint with abandon, and so that's why each layer has a little bit too much when I'm done, because I did it with freedom, joy, joie de vivre, joy of life, and abandon. I recommend painting that way. We are not tormented souls. Doggone it. Stop that. Propagating that silly legend. And Van Gogh did not shoot himself, by the way. Van Gogh did not commit suicide. 25 minutes of Google internet research, which doth make you an expert compared to all your friends, I think will convince you that he did not kill himself. The evidence is overwhelming. We kind of like that story because we like the tormented artiste legend, which I think is crap. I hate the tormented artiste legend. It's ridiculous. I am not here to express myself. I am not here to express myself. I'm here to create a thing of beauty. Now that is so politically incorrect, it's not funny. But most of us who are doing this, we're not worried about political correctness. If you're getting an MFA, you better be politically correct, because that's what MFA is. It's a degree in art politics. More on that some other time. Not today. Okay, just a little bit up here, a little bit in this building right here. Painting is considerably better already. All right, next layer. Now, I do have a formula. I do have an ABC 1, 2, 3 that I normally follow. The caution there is don't get locked into your ABC 1, 2, 3 formula. It's just a suggestion to keep you from scratching your head and go, what do I do next? So what I do next is dark details and oil. But some of you guys are giving me some wonderful chats. Let's see what's going on here. Hello, Marcus. Good to see you again, my friend. Uh-oh, strange ringing. Uh-oh. The light is giving big reflection on the side. Oh yeah, I know that the lighting here is terrible. Hello, Shauna Kramer. Oh, ringing. No kidding. Wow.
I hear a ringing.
What?
I hear a high-pitched ringing.
Would you turn that down? We'll turn down my air doctor and see if that helps. So, keep going.
That's number one.
Is that it?
It's not it.
Uh-oh. That did not fix the ringing? Sorry about that. Wow. I can't hear it. All right, so now I'm down to dark details and transparent oil. And some of you might be new, so I should repeat a few things. In the world of oil painting, oil or acrylic, opaque painting, you always get dark with opaque. You get dark with transparent colors, light with opaque colors, never vice versa. And I'm not going to take time to defend that and explain that in great detail right now, because I've done it so many times in the past. I just don't have the energy right now. If you're a better painter than me, send me an argument. If you're not better than me, just do what I say. that was nasty, wasn't it? You get dark with transparent color, like a watercolorist, and light with opaque color, or translucent, which of course is just opaque, thinned out. Is it still ringing, Nancy?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. See if you can walk around and figure out what it is for me, if you don't mind.
It stops and starts now.
It's my ears ringing, is really the truth. But I don't think you guys can hear my ears ringing. So how do you create transparent color? It's not by buying tubes that are marked transparent. No. That's exactly right. If you use opaque colors to get dark, it creates mud. That's exactly right. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you for that vote of confidence. So I'm rendering these stairs quite a bit more carefully than they were rendered previously, and I'm liking the effect. Now the painting, of course, is not finished at the end of this phase. So at the end of this phase, there will be too much of this. There will be too much drawing with dark, transparent oil paint. But that doesn't matter at all, because the painting is not finished. It ain't over till it's over. Then you measure a painting, then you judge a painting. You can judge how effective each phase or each stage is. Yes. But you don't measure it against like good painting, because if you did that now, you'd say, well, I think there's a little bit too much of that drawing stuff going on. Correct. There is. Meant to be that way. Adding some green to my dark mix here for obvious reasons. Very, very dull. Very, very dull dark green. Very much of a gray, blue, green color. Not intense at all. By the way, that was a good little clinic right there in how to render twigs or branches, bare branches in a painting. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to add some up here. Okay, so I have long filbert brushes. I'm holding them very much at the side and I'm twisting them as I go up and down. Some of you would go, ooh, I should do that. That's exactly right. You should. You should, when you're rendering bare branches in a tree or bare twigs in a floral arrangement or whatever, to get that organic, spontaneous shape. So it doesn't look contrived, doesn't look like a human being made stiff marks with their hands. Same thing down here, I think. Yeah. There's a little bit too much of that, so I'll pick up a rag, put my finger in it, and just smear it out a little bit. Same thing up here. I don't know how well you can see that. I know the glare is terrible. Hang on, I'm going to move my camera. I already have my camera at a high angle to try to diminish the glare, but let me see if I can do better. Hang on. There, is that better? I was going to ask, I don't know if you can, no, you can't. Isn't that, I'm so sorry. No matter what I do, you're getting bad glare there. Huh. Well, thank you, horror fan. I hope my painting's not horrible, but thank you for your compliment. I appreciate that. All right, I'm nearly finished then with the dark detail. Oh, the painting is so much better than it was just 20 minutes ago. What a relief. Wow. I'm going to paint, reverse paint some of these spindles right now. This right here, painting these spindles, brings up a good point that somebody might need to hear. In the world of good painting, quote unquote, not hyper realistic, and that's not good painting, but anyway, never mind. But in the world of real painting or good painting, as opposed to super realism or hyper realism, anytime you have some shape that's repeated many times in your painting, and in this painting, it's all these spindles in the porch railing, in the stairs. That's a highly repeated motif, highly repeated shape, okay? Whenever you have a highly repeated shape in the world of good painting, you must come up with different ways to render that repetition. If you just if you paint every spindle the same way, it will be boring to death. So you need to use a number of different techniques. So far I've used positive painting and negative painting to render those spindles, and we're not done yet. Of course, in the whole painting there was layers underneath that. That's just kind of what I did today. I will do later on. I will use a palette knife to do some of that. Not on every one, but no. A variety of techniques to render the oft repeated shape or motif, as I like to call it. All right, I think I'm done with dark details. Yay. That didn't take long. Now we're back to, if some of you were with me on the last painting, we're back to broken color. Let me take just a minute to wipe off my palette with a razor. I use a glass palette. I'm sorry I'm not showing it to you right now. I might show it to you in a minute, but I'm too busy. All right, and so I scrape it off with a ruler. All right, because this painting, because of its subject matter, flowers, I don't mean that's the main point of the painting, but because there's so much floral, it has a broken color already built into it here and quite a bit up here. But I'm going to do some anyway. And as always, I'm starting my broken color with purple. I don't know when I did this painting, but clearly it was some years ago, and it was before I had discovered the magic of broken color. So I can already see that this painting is going to experience a significant uplift. Simply, but it's already got significant because of the fuzz layer, the lightening of this whole zone. It's still dark, you see. The light is still here, but it's not as dark. So someone might throw a quiz at me and say, so what's the major light or dark zone? I would say now this is a decent composition because the light area goes like this. It's a U. It's a horseshoe. Traditional old-fashioned childlike magnet shape. See? The light area goes like that. Now over here, it's very much mid-tone. That's not very light. That's a number 4. If 0 is black, 5 is what, 10 is white. This is a 4, maybe a 5. So it's not very light, but it's still, our eye sees it as light. Conversely, you could say the dark is basically, the dark is 3 pieces, 1, 2, 3. So it doesn't cohese, it doesn't hang together as a shape. But the light does hang together as a shape. So I think it's probably a good composition. A good composition, repeat for some of you who missed my broadcast a few minutes ago. A good composition is one in which the major light or dark zones in your painting can be described with a single word. U or horseshoe. Okay? Some of you will find that one tip immensely helpful. Others of you, not so much. Because you're somewhere else in your journey. That's perfectly fine. Broken color is basically putting down a value that light-dark value. Value means light-dark. A value that is equal to what's already there, but a opposite color from what's already there. And a broken color is not an exercise in realism at all. It's quite the opposite. It's an exercise in abstraction. I just added some a generous amount of permanent rose to those brushes. Now, I happen to know, here, shh, don't tell anybody. When you're doing broken color, foliage, bushes and trees and grass, which are normally green, can be greatly improved by the addition of red. Typically a dark red, burgundy, mauve, burgundy, maroon, that's the word I'm looking for, maroon. I am not trying to indicate that these bushes, these trees have purple leaves. The leaves in real life are all green, but the underpainting has touches of purple in it. It's a great trick for diminishing the monotony of green foliage. And that was one of the problems with this painting. I did this painting so many years ago that I didn't know the magic of broken color. So my green work, which there was a lot of green in this painting, and it was rather monotonous. I'm going to just add some titanium white to the mixture that's already on my brushes. Now I have a pale plum purple. I think it's what I've got on my brushes now is what Crayola Crayon Company would call purple. A pale reddish violet, which I think is purple. I'm just looking for places that are things that are not purple in real life, in the scene, in the painting. Ooh, and you know what? So doing broken colors really scary. Now it's not nearly as scary as it used to be because I used to save it till last, and now I'm doing it earlier in the process, so I still have the luxury, if you will, of covering up anything I don't like. And I will cover at the end of this layer, at the end of this phase, guess what? There is going to be too much broken color, right? But not to worry, because I can come back and cover some of it up. So, oh, the painting is doing so much better. Woo! Oh, boy, there's not much that makes you happier as an artist than to take a painting that just wasn't working very well and do a few little changes, like I've done, 30 minutes on this, maybe not even that much, and it's just coming alive. Boy, what a great feel. Okay, that's enough of the purple color. Let me wipe off my brushes and see what you guys are saying. Hello, Rins de Betty. Ah. Rins Betty. Ready. I'm sorry, fine print, I can't see it very well. Yes, all the dark areas should be linked up. If the dark areas are your primary compositional focus, they should be linked up. In this case, no, it's the light areas that are linked up. So you almost remembered it right. Either light or dark, not both. And in this case, it's my major light area that creates a U shape. The dark can be separated. You were remembering a time when it was the dark shape that was contiguous, linked up. Then, yes, the dark should be contiguous and the light can be higgledy-piggledy, as I like to say. Just because it's so much fun to say that silly word. All right, now on to red. Red, red, red. Now, see, this, not only do I do broken color, I do pushed color. So this banner, Carolina Hurricanes, it says, "Let's go Canes," by the way. We are Raleigh, North Carolina, home of the Carolina Hurricanes. Their banner is, oh, that was a nice mark right there. Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. And that's not bragging, that's like surprise. Wow. I'm not smart enough to paint good. I am smart enough to spot spot good painting when I see it. Ooh, let me say that again. I said it before, but I'm not smart enough to paint good. But I am smart enough to see and spot some good painting when I see it. That's the way I paint. Not like a smarty pants, but like someone who is discovering, stumbling upon, uncovering transcendent moments like I just had right there when I did that red mark right there. It's like, oh, why didn't I think of that earlier? Well, because I'm not that smart. But after I did it, I went, whoa! Now I spot some good painting right there. Do you hear the difference? One is I'm in control and I'm making everything up. The other is I'm not really in control. I'm at the mercy of something, the muses, the creativity, the cosmos, something. But when I see a good bit of painting, I'm smart enough to leave it alone. I think I'm. Ooh, that was nice too. That was nice. Again, do you hear me? That's not bragging. That's like, oh, I'm so smart. I made that up. No, 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 no. I put it up there hoping it was going to look good. And after I did it, sometimes you go, ooh, that did go up. That did turn out good. I don't know about you. I can't imagine a really good painter being arrogant. The two things are antithetical. There's something wrong, deeply, deeply, deeply broken in a painter. It is so arrogant that they think they are responsible for any beauty they happen to put down on their canvas. You are not responsible. You're lucky son of a gun that you created something beautiful, but it's in spite of you, not because you. Yeah, and there's some artists in history that I am not at all drawn to for that very reason. I'm going to name names. Picasso. Not a huge fan. Arrogant son of a gun. I want to say stronger words so you get the point. Arrogant. At least maybe not. I didn't know him, so I'll leave that subject. But there seems to be a lot of brokenness anyway. That's for sure, and I don't blame him for being broken. Everybody's broken. But anyway, I wish I hadn't said that now, because so maybe he's just a broken son of a gun. There you go. All right, let's forget I said all that stuff, okay? But no place for arrogance, just no place at all. So if someone's a good painter, they're going to be humble about it. And every good painter I know fits that description. Every single one fits that description that I've had the pleasure of encountering personally. Because you know good and well, you did not do that. They're like me. You're smart enough to see some good painting after you do it. All right, that was a strange interlude. Let's move on. Okay, I'm done with the orange. I'm going to pick up some different brushes and pursue some yellow. Very intense, like straight out of the tube, Hansa yellow or CAD yellow light, something like that. Actually, I don't use CADs, but that doesn't matter. So pretty intense yellow here on my brush. Very, very dangerous color. And the only place I can put this down that it's going to be a broken color is over here in this already light zone of the painting. And that's all right. Pushing some of that to an intense yellow is acceptable. Yeah. Anywhere else I put it, though, it's going to do like this. It's just going to scream out loud. And so I'm just going to diminish those two little dots, spread them out a little bit. Here we go. How about on the front of the railing? Can I get away with some yellow there? Yeah, maybe. That's a bit much. I'll push it back later in the final edit layer. Let's move on now to green. So when I do the broken color layer, I mentioned this on the last painting, let me repeat it here. When I do broken color, I also often engage in pushed color. Take whatever color is there and push it. And I don't do a separate, that could be, and someday it might be a separate step in the process. But for me, most of the time, I combine that with the broken color phase. So because there is so much green already in this painting, and here I have this intense bright chartreuse on my brushes, I am just going to use it to intensify some of the green here and there. So I'm not doing broken color right now, I'm doing pushed color. Does that make sense? And pushing color is a good idea. Most beginners, most of the time, early journey painters, would do well to push their colors at some. So for them, perhaps it should be a separate stage. Maybe it should be for me too. But now, if I do some bright green here on these, say on this orange flower, then that indeed that might be a broken color. There's some broken color because that line right there was a pale lavender grayish purple, and now it's greenish purple mixed in with it. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I want bigger brushes. I am going to continue in green, but now a much darker green, deeper. So I'm just going to add phthalo blue to that pile that I already had, and Naples, and I'm sorry, yellow ochre, and a little bit of purple. By the way, did you know that a dark purple like the dioxazine violet is a great color for toning down and creating a dark green? So right now I'm creating a dark, dull green. Let me see, it needs to be a little bit bluer. Dark, dull green on my brushes, because all of a sudden I see that some of my darks in this foliage up here is actually a little bit too dark. I don't want it quite that deep. It's creating a again, my favorite word today evidently is higgledy-piggledy. It's creating I want this to coalesce. It's a little bit more of a unit. I don't want it all broken up into quite so much. You look carefully and you can see that they're separate bushes, but at first glance I want it to be just a wall, as it was in real life, a wall of a flower garden, bushes. Yeah, and it's working now much better with the addition of those mid-tone greens so the darks weren't quite so intense. The gaps, if you will, between the bushes weren't quite so deep, and it is indeed working better now. Whew, dodged a bullet, I feel like there. More of the same, more of the same. If I had time, I would talk about the magic of dark green in shadow areas. There is something absolutely unique about dark green, because green is the color that the chartreuse is the brightest, is the most aggressive color in the world to the human eye. It's the brightest, most intense color you can see without, fluorescence, without it being a glowing color, just reflection color. Chartreuse is it. Therefore, another way to put that is green is the most aggressive. It's a color that jumps off the canvas toward the viewer. Shadows, of course, recede. Shadows run away from the viewer. So we can play this little trick with this push-pull effect by putting deep green or medium deep green in shadows, because it creates a little momentary wiggle of confusion in the eye of the viewer. And many of you, if you followed me before, you would say, well, human beings don't like feeling confused. And that is true in every area except visual art. Because that little momentary flicker of confusion, and there's thousands, hundreds of ways I do that in my paintings. A good painter does that in a number of ways, whether they're aware of what they're doing or not. And then that confusion is resolved. The eye goes, oh, I get it. It's blank. It's a shadow. It's a shadow. Creates aesthetic pleasure. All right, I am nearly finished with the broken color. I started with purple, red, orange, yellow, green. And now I'm back around to blue again, right? I just went right, I don't know if you followed that, I went straight around the color wheel, starting with purple. Forgive me, I need to take a minute just to clean up my palette because I'm running out of areas to mix. And the next color up is blue. Now if I'm consistent, my next color will be a greenish blue, perhaps even an aqua, which is of course greenish blue, right? But I don't try to stay perfectly consistent. It's not worth getting all fussy. All right, so I'm gonna start out with a phthalo blue that I mixed up with with slightly dirty brushes. So I have sort of an aqua. Now I'm looking for any place in the painting that is not aqua, where I can introduce this surprise color. Let me repeat myself, forgive me for if you're getting bored of hearing this, but at the end of every phase, layer, stage of the painting process, there's a little bit too much of whatever the last thing. So at the end of the broken color phase, there will be too much broken color. Not to worry, because I still have the final edit layer ahead of me. Final edit is essentially painting in opaque colors, and opaque colors cover up. That's the essence of opaqueness. Are you with me? Yeah. So I'm doing this sort of a dull aqua, or if I could squeeze it into this red banner, that would be really fun. There it is, just a hint of it. Yeah, that's nice. Right now I'm pushing color right on that building right up there. That was pushed. That was not broken. Sorry, I'm standing right in your way. Give me just a second. I want to do that with my right hand. All right, left hand back in operation. That's enough of that. Let's continue toward a more true blue. So I just jabbed my brush right into a pile of ultramarine and then a little bit of titanium white. So what I have on my brushes now is sort of a dirty ultramarine, a cool blue, as opposed to a phthalo in my book is a warm blue. Some people are confused about that. It is not as simple as yellow is warm and blue is cool. No, there's warm and blue. There's warm and cool blues, warm and cool yellows and reds, and so on. God help the early journey painter who slaps down some Hansa yellow or CAD yellow light and thinks they're warming up their painting with a freezing cold blue color. You can have freezing cold, with a freezing cold yellow color, sorry, with a freezing cold yellow. And a beginner would go, what? There's no such thing. Well, once you develop some sensitivity to it, you will discover, oh, yeah, there is. There's warm yellows, cool yellows, warm blues, and cool blues. It is not as simple as, like I said, blue is cool and yellow is warm. That's good enough for your 7th grade art class. It's not good enough for good painting. All right, I think it might be done. That was a lot of fun. So much fun, I'm not quitting, evidently. So I went all the way around the color wheel, and the painting is not finished, of course. It's just this broadcast, this phase, this layer is finished. And I am quite happy with the progress. Man, to go from a B- painting to a A painting, when it's done, I'm convinced. What it needs now is a little bit of punch. The light opaque final edits will sharpen it up just a little bit and lighten it up just a little bit, give a little more a little bit of accent, little bit, not too much, little bit of definition, little bit, not too much. That's old paint, so that was evidently what I was scraping didn't happen today. All right, I think I might end there today. I've done 3 broadcasts. I still have 4 more paintings. If I find myself with enough energy,